The Diablo 3 Season 18 is fast approaching, and together with Season 18, we'll see the release of patch 2.6.6. So we're going to go through some of the confirmed features and additions that come along with Season 18 and patch 2.6.6. These patch notes are taken from the public test realm, the PTR, so things can definitely change when the actual official patch notes are released. This is from PTR, but as far as I know, most of it is definitely rolling over onto Season 18 and the actual official release of patch 2.6.6. So what are you waiting for? Go grab a cup of coffee, put your feet up, relax, and welcome to Bannock 13. So let's have a look at some of the new additions and features. So for Season 18, the seasonal theme will be the Season of the Triune. So the Season of Triune is something a bit different this time. There's actually 3 different abilities that can appear throughout the entire game. Doesn't matter what level you are, so you don't have to farm anything. You don't have to get some sort of community event buff that's only accessible and only applies to certain either skills or certain items that you might have equipped in your inventory. This is just going to be working throughout the entire game. Doesn't matter what level or what class you actually are. So what happens is there are 3 different abilities that appear as circles, kind of like the Oculus ring that you're all probably familiar with if you've played Diablo 3 before. So the Oculus ring comes up with a power circle on the ground. This is very similar to that, except there's 3 different circles that can appear, and if you stand in them, then you get that particular buff. So the 3 circles, the way that they work are, one of them is a power circle, so players inside the circle will receive a 100% damage bonus while active. This is going to be huge when you're leveling up, especially. The second circle is resource reduction. Players in the circle will receive a 50% discount on resources spent while active. And finally, the third circle is cooldown reduction. So while standing inside this circle, you will receive any skills that are currently on cooldown will come off the cooldown a lot more quickly. So it's just going to reduce the cooldown of that particular skill that's on cooldown. So obviously that'll depend on the type of build that you're playing with. If it's a main primary skill that has a cooldown that's a damage dealer, and everything else is like buffs and stuff like that and doesn't have a cooldown, then obviously that one skill that has a cooldown will be the one that benefits from this. So it can be hit or miss, I suppose. I think the main one we're going to want is the power one. Personally, for my playstyle, power is always the way to go, but we'll see what happens. We'll definitely, it depends what class you're playing and what abilities you're going with, what build, what set. Everything's going to definitely make a difference as to which circle you're going to benefit most from. So nonetheless, it's going to be very interesting, and this is actually going to be something that actually affects everybody at all times and benefits everybody at all times throughout their seasonal journey. So I don't think we've had a seasonal theme like this before, not quite like this. This is definitely something different. I know the last 2 seasons, Season 16, Season 17, were very popular. A lot of people came back and played, so hopefully this is even bigger. So I do like people returning to Diablo 3. Maybe in the future it'll motivate Blizzard to give us a new Diablo game, either a big expansion or Diablo 4. How about that? That would be absolutely awesome. So let's have a look at some of the key items that have been buffed here as well. So Flavor of Time, new legendary power. So some items have brand new legendary powers. Either their old legendary powers have been changed completely, or they never had a legendary power, like the Executioner, which we'll get to, and now they do. So the Flavor of Time, pylon effects last twice as long, not too bad. The Executioner is one that I'm really interested in. The new legendary power, and the Executioner was a 2-handed axe, I believe, and it never had any legendary stats to it at all. No legendary power. But right now, attacks will slay enemies with less than 5 to 10% health. This is actually very, very huge and will be pretty damn beneficial when you're pushing higher, greater rifts, because it doesn't matter if the monster or enemies that you're killing, that you're trying to slay, it doesn't matter if they have 1, 2, 200, 300, or 200 trillion amounts of health left. As long as they're under 5 to 10% health, then they're going to get automatically slain. So this is going to be really huge in Greater Rifts, I think, personally. If it's going to work the way that I'm imagining it working, then this is going to definitely be huge, especially, well, I mean, you can put it in Canonized Cube, but maybe equipping the executioner might be good too. Probably not. Depends. It really depends what build you go with, what set, and obviously what class. So it's going to be very interesting. That's a legendary stat that I really want. I'll slot that in my Canonized Cube. That'll go very well on my Witch Doctor right now instead of the Furnace. I'd definitely rather use that. I mean, imagine Rift Guardians. They got all that health. If you get them down to 10% left, all of a sudden, bang, you just drop them dead. So, could be very overpowered. Stone Gauntlets. New legendary power. Getting attacked will slowly turn you to stone. You gain 50% more armor, but your movement speed is reduced by 15%, and attack speed is reduced by 20%. This effect stacks up to 5 times. Again, depending on your build, this can be very, very beneficial for survivability if you're pushing those higher Greater Rifts, and especially if you're kind of stacking enemies in towards you and you're killing density and you don't need to move around, you're going to be increasing your armor and you're going to be sacrificing movement speed that you actually don't need at the time. So it can be super beneficial, but of course, reducing attack speed obviously can be costly as well. Going to be interesting. Echoing Fury looks like it's going to actually have a legendary stat this time around. Slaying enemies engulfs the wielder into a frenzy. Killing enemies increases your attack speed by 15% and movement speed by 5%. This effect stacks up to 5 times. I don't expect to see many players using this as a primary weapon. However, I really don't know. I don't think this is going to take over some of the other weapons that are currently being used for certain sets. It could possibly be used in Canonized Cube, but I don't think we should see too much of that. It doesn't sound too crash hot. Squirt's Necklace, depending on what part of the world you're from. It could be necklace or necklace. New legendary power. While not taking damage, your damage is increased by up to 100% and damage taken is reduced by up to 50%. So probably something very handy for ranged classes. Messerschmitt's Reaver. Messerschmitt. Try saying that. New legendary power. Reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you slay an enemy. Again, depending on what build you're playing, if you've only got one skill that's your primary damage dealer and it does a lot of damage but has like some sort of big cooldown, if that's the only skill that has a cooldown effect, then you're going to benefit from this big time. Mortix Brace. Now, this is the one that interested me the most. What happens when you have Mortix Brace equipped? It's a new legendary item altogether. Wrath of the Berserker will now gain the effect of every rune. So Wrath of the Berserker increases damage, armor. I think it also leeches some health back. This is huge for barbarians. If you can keep Wrath of the Berserker up close to 100% of the time, and if you have Mortix Brace equipped, and then every time you actually activate Wrath of the Berserker, instead of having Insanity as your primary rune, it's going to activate all runes. This is going to be huge for barbarians, and trust me, I know, because I played a barbarian last season, and if I had that, it would have really helped me big time. Now, another new addition definitely worth mentioning is the Legacy of Dreams gem. This is a brand new legendary gem. A lot of people have been enjoying Season 17 so much that they want something similar to help them continue on after Season 17 ends, so they can keep experimenting with that type of build that requires ancient items and non-set items, or non-set bonuses. You can have a set item equipped as long as you don't benefit from any set item bonuses. So this Legacy of Dreams is the name of this new gem, and what it's actually going to do is, while you have no set bonuses equipped, every legendary item you have equipped increases your damage dealt by 3.75% and reduces your damage taken by 2%. Max level 99. When you get this to rank 25, this bonus is doubled for ancient items. So if it starts off at 3.75 and 2% for damage reduction, I wonder when it levels up what it can actually get to, because 3.75% really isn't a hell of a lot of a damage increase compared to the 750% per ancient item that you get from your Legacy of Nightmares rings, and also the Season 17 Season of Nightmares community buff. So it'll be interesting to see once you level it up. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to the Legacy of Nightmares bonuses, and this is great because you don't have to actually have your Legacy of Nightmares rings equipped. This is kind of carrying on, just having a gem equipped is definitely a lot more beneficial. It'll free you up and you can sort of continue on Season 17 forever. I'm just not too sure. I'll have to wait and see. I'll definitely level up one of these gems and see what it levels up to. I'll get back to you all on that one, but right now it's not looking quite as good as the Legacy of Nightmares, but I don't know how far we can actually push it. I don't see this going up to 750% for damage increasing. But hey, that was definitely an overpowered season. So I will get back to everybody with more info on Legacy of Dreams. I haven't tested it out. I haven't played Public Test Realm. Haven't played the PTR this time around. Just haven't had time. I've got a lot of other IRL stuff going on, so I do as much Diablo 3 content as possible. But this time around, for Season 18, I'll have a brand new PC. So, Monk, baby. I'm going to go Monk, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm 99% sure I'll be going Monk, and I'll be pumping out videos left, right, and center because I just want to spend a lot more time on my PC as opposed to my PlayStation 4. But having said that, I'm playing Detroit Become Human right now, so stay tuned for a brand new video with me playing Detroit Become Human. So crafted sets are changing as well, but I'm not going to get into all this because, let's face it, we all have lives to live. You don't want to listen to me babble on and on about every single little thing. That's pretty much it for Season 18. I will be back with more details as soon as they hit. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click that notification bell up there, and that way, as soon as I upload a new video, whether it be the patch notes or anything else Diablo 3 related, you will be the first to know about it, and you'll also support your creepy uncle right here, Bannick13. Love you all. Cannot wait to see you again real soon.